Disability is a touchy subject at the best of times, but it is a significant consideration in political philosophy, which cannot be ignored in a full discussion of what makes a good society. In Flight to the Finish, we gained a keen insight into how this volatile issue is dealt with in an equestrian society, and it is thus my purpose today to critique the philosophy this represents, both in terms of its strengths and its defects. One of the main topics in political philosophy is that of societal rights. Things like the cardinal rights of the American Constitution and the human rights of the United Nations. Deciding what rights are justified is a central tenet of any ethical society, but when disability is considered, things become much more complicated. This is because giving different rights to different groups often comes with an association of different intrinsic value also, and this leads to inequality. In my top 3 pony episodes video, I mentioned that I thought the way in which Scootaloo's disability is handled was indicative of a commendably mature and forward-thinking society. So let's take a look at exactly what Scootaloo's treatment says about the society of Equestria. First of all, by treating Scootaloo in exactly the same way as everyone else, regardless of her disability, it seems to show that the difference in value between disabled and undisabled is not present in this society. This is significant as it means that it is likely their rights are the same also, and it also establishes the fact that everyone in equestrian society is thought of as equally valuable. However, the very same fact that Scootaloo is not given preferential treatment does raise a concern about how her disability is provided for. It is entirely possible, for example, that no care or consideration is given to disabilities whatsoever, since if everyone is equal, then it is not fair that they should be given preferential treatment that they didn't earn. This argument is essentially that of libertarianism, and is similar in vein to those opposed to Obamacare. Libertarians believe that for society to be equal, this means everyone should be treated in the same way. If one party gets free healthcare, then they are getting treatment unfairly and unequally to everyone else. It is not fair for citizens to pay for others to be treated, when those people did not earn the money themselves. This argument does have some merits. One only has to look at the British National Health Service to see examples of people abusing the system. For example, as short a while ago as last December, John Lay and Deborah Harrison were arrested for an NHS fraud scandal estimated to amount to £1 million. However, it is a stretch to take examples of the minority and use them to attack the majority, which is to say that just because a few people abuse the system does not mean that everyone will, nor does it justify dropping the many benefits that come with free healthcare. I believe that Flight to the Finish shows a more sophisticated take on disability still, however, than simply refusing healthcare by treating everyone exactly equally. To demonstrate this, I will have to give a counter-example to libertarianism. Luck Egalitarianism is a political philosophy which argues that people should be compensated by the government for inequalities which are beyond their control. For example, since Scootaloo was born unable to fly, she should get some kind of balloon or other transport to facilitate trips to Cloudsdale and other Pegasus towns. Similarly, Derpy would be entitled to a guide dog to help with her impaired vision. This is roughly the approach taken by free healthcare in the UK, and it works pretty well, putting people with disabilities on a level playing field with everyone else. The obvious flaw with this approach is that the concept of luck is so vague. You could argue you are unlucky for being too short and demand stilts, or unlucky for being born into a poor family and demand financial aid. This is where a version of Luck Egalitarianism, as voiced by Tan, comes in. In his recent book, Justice, Institutions and Luck, he argues that the luck the state compensates the citizens for should be based on the extent to which the state makes it something which is unlucky in the first place. He illustrates the position with the following example. In Nazi Germany, being born without blue eyes and blonde hair was unlucky, as it lowered your chances of being considered Aryan, and if you were deemed of another race you could be enslaved or even killed. However, what Tan points out is that it is not the hair colour or the eye colour itself which is unlucky, but how the state treats people with those conditions. The state converts their luck into a disadvantage, thus it is the state's responsibility to compensate them for it. It is exactly this kind of luck egalitarianism which I believe is implicit in equestrian society. The reason Scootaloo doesn't have a wheelchair or a balloon or other preferential treatment is because in its place society has adapted to the point where being disabled is not converted by the state into a disadvantage. This is the case because all races live in harmony, so she is free to live wherever she wants. Additionally, cutie marks allow for each citizen to pursue their own potential, and thus her physical state isn't a hindrance to this. However, were there to be a hindrance created by society, then they would receive healthcare. For example, ponies with glasses are shown, meaning that it is possible sight issues are compensated for. Obviously there is no proof that it is free, but it would fit a lot more cohesively with the views implicit in the society. Thus, when Rainbow Dash tells Scootaloo that it doesn't matter whether she can fly or not, it references not only that the intrinsic values she has will not change, but also that she will not be disadvantaged in later life by her society. I believe that adapting society in such a way as to treat the root cause of inequality in this way is perhaps the best approach to disability, and thus I commend the equestrian way. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourself and maybe learned something too. What are your thoughts? Am I right to defend Luck Egalitarianism, or is libertarianism the more accurate position? Is disability treated correctly in Equestria, or is another approach necessary? Let me know in the comments. Until next time then, this is Nightsphere the Gnostic. Goodbye.
Some people call me little, some people call me small, but given the chance I'll rise up and stand above them all. Some people put me down, some people kick me around, but believe me when I tell you I'll be the one that rules this town. But they all say no, and they say you can't go, but I won't let them decide who I should be. Colorful rainbows catch my eye when I see you fly across the sky. You're like a drug that calms the mind. You're like a drug that calms the mind. I'll flap my wings and get off of the floor. I'll fly higher than ever before. Within my hair as I start to soar.